welcome to my YouTube channel. This is BNSF 6951, a Vinny Vid Productions video. Hi, I'm Vinny and I will be your host. This is a model railroad channel, so if you enjoy watching scratch builds, layout updates, and rail fanning, and lots of other stuff that pertains to model railroading, this is the channel for you. So if you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And after you hit that subscribe button, don't forget to hit that bell. That'll give you a notification of any time I do a video or live stream. Anyhow, I'm going to ask you guys to do one more thing, and that is to give me the thumbs up. That will help my analytics with YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the video, so let's get going. First, a word from my sponsors. This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF 6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the Cuz sent you. Alright guys, we're going to follow a trio of dash 9s, number 600, number 650, and number 725. I did this in the dark to see how good the camera would pick up on the light. It looks like it's doing pretty good. But don't be fooled, because the next scene is going to be full light. Anyhow, let's follow this train and see where it's going to get us. This is going to be a short manifest, and at this point right here I decided to change my mind on which route I was going to take. One route is easier to get into the helix than the other, and so I'm going to back this train up, and I am going to go ahead and onto the other track. So I'm going to do a crossover, and this crossover is called the 35th Avenue crossover, and it's in front of Hootig Building Supplies. Alright, we're going to throw the turnouts now, and we're going to be on our merry way. And here we go. And here we go. There we go. Nice crossover. There we go. Very, very nice. I'll be doing various shots through the layout just to give you guys an idea what's going on. Like I said, right now we're passing through what I would call Central Phoenix. Of course, it's like around 35th Avenue, somewhere in there, 35th to 40th Avenue. 2 lumber facilities there. You got the Hootig Building Supplies, and you got also Builders Express. And here we are coming around the corner to the overflow yard. I should have cut that little section out right there. Anyhow, this is the entering the area where the overflow yard is. Now, if I had the room, the overflow yard would be behind the 2 lumber facilities, because in actuality, that's where it actually is. But due to room constrictions, you have to do what you got to do. We all know that. And now we're heading into Glendale, North Phoenix area, and we're passing CalGas LPG facility. It's very small, and it doesn't even belong in that area, but I'm going to keep it there, only because I don't have enough room to put it anywhere else. So anyhow, it is a prototypical company that is on the P line. Actually, it's on the Enos sub. And if you look closely, you can see some of the scenery that I did back there a couple weeks ago. You'll see it better on the way back. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. This was a good run. The only problem I had was issues with uncoupling, unwanted uncouplings. I'll have to deal with that. But anyhow, you can see some more of the scenery that I did right there. And again, you'll see it later again. You can see a lot better picture of it. Besides tankers and hoppers, the manifest train is my favorite train. I'm not really too keen on intermodal or auto racks. I don't care how many times I run this helix, I always love watching my trains go up and down the helix. It's one of my favorite parts of my layout. At this point, I'm showing you that I'm at speed step number 7, and I stayed on that speed step pretty much through the entire run session. I really don't need to have 3 locomotives to pull that amount of cars. I just did that for the aesthetics, make it look good, make it look like it's working, all that kind of good stuff. I could have got it up the helix a lot faster if I just increased the speed, but I just wanted to keep it pretty much at a prototypical speed. I'm showing that I'm still at 7, speed step number 7. These locomotives have always been my best locomotives. They run the best. I've never had any issues with them, except in this video, and you'll see later on why. I always loved this part of my helix, and I've gotten lots and lots of compliments on it. But that's going to change. The back part that's up against the framework is going to extend all the way up the legs of the top section right there to give it more of a mount and then cover up that big hole so you don't see what's inside the helix. And this run right now, where it goes into this gigantic S curve, is one of my favorite shots right here. Now we're crossing over the Agua Fria dry riverbed. And this is pretty close to where the Enos sub would come off of the P-Vine sub, and it would head out to Fertizona and the LPG plant that I showed you earlier in this video. Alright, now we're going to be crossing over the Hassayampa River. The Hassayampa River is an Indian name, and I have a hard time spelling it. But anyhow, it's part of the P-Vine sub, and it's up near Wickenburg. I need to refresh the river. It's kind of dirty. This is a different view from Wickenburg. I'm on the inside of the town of Wickenburg, watching the train pass through. It's on the siding right now. The train's parked on the track or on the main line. But this is a typical size train that I would run on my layout, only because I think it looks the best. It doesn't take up 2 tables. It's usually just 1 table. And I consider a table to be every 8 feet. At this point right here, we start another 2% grade, and this is just a run long grade up to the summit. And there was one of the uncouplers, as you saw it right there. The orange hopper and the Sioux line uncouple from each other. crossing over Little Hell Canyon. The industry you see there is called Drake Cement Plant. I have never continued to work on it. It needs a whole bunch of work. And the funny thing about this industry is that the people that sold it to Drake, there was one stipulation that they had when they sold the property. And the stipulation was that they have a cemetery, a family cemetery on the grounds of this facility. And the stipulation was that they keep that cemetery intact on their property. And so when I get back on this project, I will be modeling that cemetery. And this is known as Hell Canyon. No S. It's not Hells, it's Hell Canyon. This is one of my favorite scenes also. It still needs a bunch of scenery to get done. Now this is the town of Ash Fork. My original layout, this was Terminus. It would end here. Right now it's only got one track in there, but there'll be a passing siding in there and one storage track for like maintenance away stuff. And that'll be on this table that the train is entering right now. And this is where my third level starts. Like I said, Ash Fork was Terminus. Now it's extended into the upper level, the third level, which leads up to Williams, Arizona. Now we're in room number 2, and this is the third level. And this level has several different gradients going on. It's got 1%, it's got a 2%, it's got a no percent. So yeah, I tried to do as much elevation changes as I could on this area. Now this area where all the junk is parked, there's going to be another huge mountain right there. And so when the train goes around the backside of it, you know, it'll kind of disappear. And the good thing about it is the second track you see there is actually going in the same direction, but when the train passes each other, it'll look like it's going in the opposite direction. And that was one of the plans that I had when I started building this area, was to have the capability of trains passing each other. I need to get about 200 more trees to finish off this area. And now I show you the completed train that has arrived in Williams, Arizona. Actually, there was a clip missing out of there. And also there's a clip missing out of here. This originally, I started to film this. This is the crew change and a new train that's going to be picked up. But when I went to render this, the original one was missing. So I had to do a second one, which was missing the train that it was picking up right now. Anyhow, this train is going to be the manifest that's going back to the overflow yard back in Phoenix, using the same power but with a different crew. Now on this train I had several unwanted uncouplings. So I don't know why. Well, some of them are micro chains and some of them are not micro chains, and the ones that are micro chains and not micro chains usually have a hard time staying connected. But for the most part, it worked out pretty good. And once we go around that huge curve right there, we'll be heading back into room number 1. And again, we'll be entering Ash Fork. Alright, we're running back through Ash Fork, and like I said, there'll be a passing siding here and a stub-end track to park maintenance away, or just to park a train. It will be quite long. It'll be probably long enough to get about 6 or 7 cars in there. This area desperately needs some scenery. Now, I mentioned earlier that one of the locomotives was giving me a little bit of problems here. Well, if you listen closely, anywhere in this next few scenes, you'll hear the locomotive squeaking and growling and making all kinds of noise. That's the lead locomotive that's doing all of that. I think you'll get a better shot of the Drake cement plant as we cruise by it right now. Everything in there that you see is all scratch built and it's pretty close to prototypical. I tried to use as many pictures as I could of the plant, but there really isn't very many. I tried to get a tour up there and they wouldn't allow me to have a tour up there, so they said, well, you can come in and we'll just bring you into the, what do they call it, where they have meetings, like the meeting room. So we'll bring you up there and we can entertain you in the meeting room. I thought, well, that's not what I really want. I want to take pictures of the plant. They said, sorry, we can't help you. That's okay. But this is so cool when the train just runs nice. It doesn't give you any problems. Like I said, the only problems I had was unwanted uncouplings, but there was no derailments, no track cleaning or anything like that. Speaking of track cleaning, I haven't cleaned the track in quite a while, and I guess that mineral spirits and the inox works pretty good. Again, we're crossing over Hell Canyon. I redid the bridge bends on that because I didn't like the way the microengineering ones were. They were like too big, too fat. They weren't end scale. I also built the road and bridge in front of that train bridge. I don't know how come it came out with the blue tint on there. Oh no! Watch out for that truck there, buddy. Got to get out of the way there, man. Can't mess with the train. Again, we're passing through Wickenburg here. All of those buildings need to get painted, and they're pretty whimsical as far as the colors go. So eventually I'll get on that. And we're going to be crossing over the bridge that crosses over Wickenburg Way. And if you stay on that road right there, that'll get you out to California. But that was a custom bridge that I made there. And then we got my roundabout right there, which is also prototypical. Of course, there wouldn't be a tank car sitting there, or a couple of locomotives wouldn't be sitting on that road. Now this area here is where I do the Arizona-California exchange. I call it Castle Hot Springs, and trust me, it's not even close to the area it needs to be in. But you know, it's always selective compression. We're passing under the Morristown Flyover bridges. And I need to redo those because they look like crap. Alright, so this area that we're passing right now is going to be the future home of Sierra Adobe Ethanol. As soon as I get a chance, I'll start working in this area also. There's lots of stuff I need to do on this layout. You know what they say, it's never finished. I always love this area, and I think it's going to look a lot better once I get the scenery extended up to the bottom of the upper framework. Alright, and now we'll take the trip down the helix. And again, I always love watching my chains go through the helix, either up or down, doesn't make a difference. This helix was supposed to be a 2-track helix, but prototype doesn't have double track. Prototype is single track, and trains have to wait if they want to go in the other direction, and that's basically why I built my helix with a single track rather than a double track. I had not changed the throttle speed either. Throttle speed stayed at 7. There was one spot where I did juice it up a little bit, but that was the only place. This helix is 6.5 loops. It's a 20-inch radius, and it's just about a 2%, a little bit under, a little bit over 2% grade. I took a lot of time to build this helix and then rebuilt it. Actually, not the helix itself, but the supports were done 3 times till I finally got the one that works. The threaded rod I was using was too big, and the long locomotives with a lot of overhang were hitting it, so I had to replace it. And finally, I took all the threaded rod out and put blocks of wood in there. Alright, now we're passing through North Phoenix / Glendale, and this is the area that I did all of the scenery that you can see a lot better right now. And I still got to add more. I still got lots of cactus to put in there and some other bushes and so on and so forth. But scenery is my favorite part of doing a layout. And now we're entering the overflow yard, and this is from one side of the layout, and I will show you from the other side of the layout. Whoa, look at that. Alright, this is looking at it from the other side of the layout. And what's going to happen here is the train is going to stop, the engines will uncouple, and they will head back to Phoenix, especially the lead locomotive making all of that noise. So we'll have to see how that goes. Anyhow, there goes our locomotives. Oh, not yet. Sorry about that. We've got to come to a stop first. There we go. Now the locomotives will head back to Phoenix. Anyhow, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are welcome. For now, that's all, folks. BNSF 6951 and Vinny Vid Productions out.